Good morning, welcome. Forewarn, I do have a cat who needs attention and she may pop in and out. I think she's happy right now where she's at. I am so glad you're here. You've taken an important step to understanding why stress and unhealthy coping patterns can take such a strong hold and how to finally create balance again. I keep looking at myself, so I am going to stop the video here. Please bear with me. There we go. I have a sort of attention span apparently, or I'm easily distracted. Sorry about that. So anyways, this session is designed so you can watch it at any time. There's no chat or participation required. I just want you to take notes, reflect, and be open to what resonates with you. I've been putting a lot of work into this and revising and replaying. And so anyways, I'm Billy. I'm a board certified holistic nutritionist and founder of the Wellness in Recover strategy. I support women whose stress is causing them to cope with unhealthy mechanisms, such as alcohol, emotional eating, or exhaustion from overworking. This program started as a newly recovered program for women coming out of treatment and having a hard time staying sober without the mood swings or changing to a different unhealthy habit. Some noticed, again, their family would make comments on, and they just made some pretty nasty comments. Nobody understood what was happening internally and neurochemically, all this science mumble jumble that we're not going to get into right now. But this topic is personal for me. I've been sober for close to 8 years now, and what I've learned through both education and lived experience is that real healing happens when we address the root causes of imbalance, not just the surface symptoms. By the end of this session, you'll understand why common solutions like willpower, apps, and support groups often fail long-term. How stress, nutrition, and neurochemistry interact to create cravings and exhaustion. What simple science-based steps you can take to begin your personal reset. This took me a couple years. When I first started recovery in 2009, I was told that it took a month for every year that I was drinking to recover. And I went in, they diagnosed me with what was called wet brain and a few other things. And I just thought, with all of the emotional turmoil, this was going to be the longest 16 months of my life. And it wasn't 16 months. And this is why. First of all, for many women, stress leads to coping mechanisms that provide temporary relief, but long-term imbalance, like alcohol after work, sugar cravings, or constant snacking. We may think also of smoking and donuts, but those society is shaming us. They shame us for alcohol too, but it's more accepted. Like, we go out after work to relieve stress. Oh, I'm going for a drink after work. And it starts to build an unhealthy pattern. Then we've been taught to rely on willpower or just saying no after this, after we've built this pattern, right? It's a habit. Habits are not easy to break. So they say, just say no, but that approach overlooks the biochemistry behind the behavior. When we rebalance the body and mind, the urge to cope begins to fade naturally. And it really does. You'll still always have, you're going to end up with some stress. This is not going to be a relief of all stress. This is finding healthier habits to address that stress. I wouldn't take my chocolate chip cookies in, but that's under extreme stress. There will be those times, but we're going to find alternatives to that. So can you relate to any of these? Are you tired of planning your entire day around that glass of wine at 5 p.m.? Or There's a few other ones. I just don't mention any specifics for triggers. Well, wine is kind of a specific, I get that. Do you find yourself saying things in meetings that you regret the next morning because your brain feels foggy and scattered? Are you snapping at your children over normal childhood behavior because their patients, sorry, not their patients, well, their patients do start showing against you. I've been there, but because your patience is completely depleted. Do you wake up with anxiety and embarrassment about what you said or did the night before? Are you avoiding social situations where your drinking might be questioned or judged? Now, these are all things that I can relate to. And I worked with a manager, and I bet she could relate to the same thing. I haven't seen her for quite some time, actually. So I want you to know it's not your fault. Struggling to manage stress through unhealthy habits is not a lack of discipline. It's a sign your body and brain are out of sync. Most advice misses the connection between stress, gut health, and brain chemistry. The real reason so many women feel trapped in a cycle of exhaustion, guilt, and cravings. I'm not going to go into a lot of science. I have a lot of posts. Feel free to visit my business page on LinkedIn and Facebook, Billy's Holistic Wellness, or there will be, well, there's not as much information on my website as there is there. But I talk about what first alcohol does, what stress does to your system, and vitamin B depletion, all of that kind of stuff, which is all that what I address in the program as well. So I don't want to go into too much science, but I really do at the same time because it's fascinating. But imagine waking up with calm energy, focused at work, connected at home, and confident in your choices. You're not chasing willpower, you're simply aligned. Could you imagine not having to white knuckle it? And that's how I felt. Even in sobriety, I was white knuckling it. This is what happens when we address both neurochemical imbalance and nutritional restoration together. So 7 years ago, a little bit more than 7 years ago now, I looked like I had it all together. A solid career, I was in school also, a nice home. I was just the image of balance. I smiled all the time. I was happy all the time. Nobody knew. Absolutely nobody knew. But behind the scenes, I was planning my day around stress relief. For me, that meant wine. I changed to wine because it didn't do what the hard stuff did to me. Sometimes even hidden in a Contigo cup at the park. I told myself it was normal, my reward, what busy moms did to cope. Maybe even what made me a better mom. I was a happier mom. I was less stressed. I had a lot of stress. I was worked up. I was irritable. I was yelling at my child. A child that age does not need to be yelled at. He needs to be accepted for what's going on in his life too. Even after I stopped drinking, I still felt foggy in meetings, anxious, snappy, and scattered. I blamed work pressure and single mom life. I took anger management as well. It didn't work the way that it was supposed to for me, I felt. So what I didn't realize then was it wasn't just the alcohol, it was what it did to my body's chemistry. So years of using it to manage stress had left me depleted and out of balance. I had the food part figured out, but what I was missing was the bigger picture. My brain and body needed a complete reset. I had done this once before in 2009 when I explained earlier that it didn't take me the 16 months to heal. But I failed to remember that part. And I didn't think of the stress that built up to this. And this is what I mean. It's stress. We'll get into that because I'm going to just keep mumbling now at this point. So yeah, so think about any of the times that you have felt like this. So maybe it's not with alcohol, but with food, scrolling at night, any GTP chat. Like I know people who talk to GTP chat for answers and questions and to find relief. And they use it as a counselor. And so this is anything, you take the edge off of you, and you're definitely not alone. So here's why nothing has worked. This is me at the gym. And one of the biggest things that I talk about with stress and burnout is overworking at the gym is not healthy for you. You need micro movements. And this is why having a tailored program is probably better for you. So most women try one or more of these. Willpower, which often turns into white knuckling through the day. You might manage for a while, but the pressure builds up until you find something else to replace it, like food. Oh, for me, I think before I really got into recovery, went a week. Apps and support groups, they provide valuable connection, but rarely address the underlying chemistry driving the behavior. Supplements and programs, they can help temporarily, but without a full reset plan that includes gut healing, nutrition, results don't last. I was taking supplements way beyond what I needed. I am not taking anything anymore. I do not take lavender, and I was taking that every day. I was taking lion's mane, ashwagandha. I did holy basil for a while. I was taking, well, I still do vitamin B. I will always do a stress formula of vitamin B, because we will always still have those threats, whether they're perceived, because they're, even if they're not real, they're perceived as real. So, but that's again on a whole different subject. Well, not really, but right now. So real sustainable changes require addressing nutrient deficiencies caused by stress and alcohol, the gut-brain connection that drives cravings and mood swings, a simplified nutrition plan that balances meals, I have easy recipes to stabilize blood sugar and mood while rebuilding your body's foundation. So those are just 3. This is a 12-week program. Every week addresses a specific thing, and there's a habit in every one of them that we need to reverse into a more positive habit. When your system is off balance, it can impact every area of your life. Work life difficulty focusing, procrastination, second guessing, oh my gosh, imposter syndrome, decisions, or snapping at coworkers, followed by guilt or shame. And shame is not an easy one. That is not like guilt. Okay, shame is I am bad. Guilt is I feel bad. I've been reading a lot of Brené Brown, and honestly, I did not know what shame was. And now I do, and now I can reflect back, and now I can catch myself, and I've caught my son in just little reactions that he's made. I can tell what guilt and shame is. It's amazing. I highly recommend reading her book, Imperfect. Anyways, I'm trailing off again. So it also affects family life, arguments with partners, irritability, emotional distance that deepen guilt and disconnection, self-image, waking up with regret or feeling like you're failing at things that once came naturally. These patterns don't mean you're weak. They mean your body is calling for a reset. It's calling for help. Not even just a reset. It is asking to be rescued right now. So the truth is, these coping habits, whether it's alcohol, food, scrolling, or overworking, aren't about willpower. They're the result of a neurochemical imbalance created by chronic stress and nutritional depletion. That imbalance is what fuels the brain, mood swings, cravings, and burnout that make it hard to cope naturally. Think of it as a broken bone. You can't just treat the pain. You have to help it heal properly. Here's what most people don't realize. You can truly reset these patterns by relying only on willpower. Or sorry, you can't. My Bite Defender update came up and threw me off here. I apologize again. You can't truly reset these patterns by relying only on willpower supplements or even support groups and apps. Those things help with connection and awareness. but they often treat symptoms, not the cause. Until you address the root imbalance in your brain and body, it's like trying to build resilience on an unstable foundation. And that's why nothing has fully worked. You've been treating the symptoms, not the source. Actually, have you been treating anything at all? Because once you get through this, you're going to find out that you're just I can't think of the words that I want to put to this. You're just trying everything you can to relieve yourself, to get better. It's like taking a magnetic finder out there and looking for metal. If you hit something and it starts to ding, oh, it's going to work, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's nothing there. That's the best way I can explain this, for lack of better words. Anyways, the Wellness in Recovery Strategy is the program that I've built. This approach combines nutritional, emotional, and lifestyle science to restore balance. So there's 3 phases. There's the foundation reset. So we rebalance hydration, sleep, and nutrition. Those are the 2 things that we lack the most when we're stressed. And if you really think about it, you're not getting good quality sleep. You're not drinking any water. And if you're eating in the morning, and I will almost guarantee you're just grabbing a cup of coffee that's 3 sugar and 3 cream, triple, I believe they call it at Tim Hortons. This is where we need to start. We also need to start with where the stress is, what is overwhelm and what is causing it, so that we can start to put it in perspective. Then we also begin with gut repair and introduce simple meal plans and recipes. This will help simplify your life, especially if you're a mom with kids. Okay, one of the biggest stressors that we have is, what do we feed our kids? And we go on with this, proper nutrition. Then there's the sports. There's just so much. And this is all going to make sense when you're in the program. The stress recovery, we learn to regulate your nervous system and manage the triggers. That's throughout. Everything is building habits. And so the program is built in a specific manner to deal with the most concerning habits and that take the longest to replace with healthier habits. And we really concentrate on the replacement of healthier habits, not just stopping the bad habit. We build healthy coping mechanisms that feel natural, not forced. And this is why each one is a week. We want to take baby steps. We don't want to shock our system. It's like going without food for 3 or 4 days, and you're put on the brat diet, right? Bread, rice, apple, and toast. So I was trying to remember my brat. You think I'd know, being a nutritional consultant. And then we have the weeks 9 to 12, and that's the sustainable systems. So it strengthens new habits, reinforces routines, and builds emotional resilience. Establishing ongoing self-care systems that prevent relapse or burnout. Each step builds on the last, ensuring that you create true lasting feeling. My weekly group coaching calls I would like to be lifelong, so that we build that community and that sense of safety. I do have one-on-ones. I have different tiers anyways that help with the supplement. That's not part of this presentation though. You can reach out if you need any more information on that, or check out my website that I'll have in the post. So if this session, as short as it is, resonates, because you know what, we don't need an hour information. We're already stressed with time. Your next step is to call or set up a personal reset and clarity call. It's a free professional 45-minute assessment designed to identify what's causing your stress-related coping patterns, Determine which phase you should start in. Explain why previous attempts didn't last, and provide a personalized roadmap to restore balance without relying on willpower alone. This call is about clarity and direction, not pressure. It's your chance to understand what's happening inside your body and what to do next. Now I am going to bring my face back up here. I'm okay now, being distracted by it. So I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Initially, I'm trying to bring awareness, especially to women. There's a stigma out there and we're struggling alone. Sometimes it's kids, teenagers. For me, when I was 19, I thought it was normal to be drinking the way I was drinking. And if you see anything in my posts and stuff, it was absolutely not normal what was happening to me. At 19, they assessed me as somebody who had been drinking for 20 years. For me to shrug off, it just wasn't acknowledged. Okay, so again, though, drinking is normalized until it gets to be too far. And then by that time, a lot of the time it's late and it's a bigger struggle. So I'm trying to catch people before they get to that stage. Detox is not a fun place. 28-day treatments are not pleasant either. So you don't have to live in survival mode. You deserve balance, clarity, and peace. And that starts by understanding your body's needs and not blaming yourself. Don't blame yourself. Don't shame yourself anymore. Shame is a very dangerous thing. This process works for anyone coping with stress in any unhealthy ways. Again, whether it's alcohol, food, or fatigue from pushing too hard for too long, your reset starts with awareness. And that awareness starts here. And I'm here to personally guide you weekly. It's weekly group calls and then one-to-ones as you feel necessary. Please reach out. I will have all my information in the post, and I really look forward to, I don't know, walking beside you to your transformation. Thank you.